Time for Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero. When it comes to news on 95.1 FM, weather always comes first. A quieter than normal period of weather is underway across the continental U.S., and it's forecast to continue until at least Thursday. Scattered to isolated rain showers and storms will spread into the southern plains, lower Mississippi Valley, Midwest, and Great Lakes today. Two low-pressure systems will consolidate and then spread showers and storms across the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic tomorrow. Strong southerly flow into the west and southwest will support above-average temperatures today and tomorrow. Closer to home, warming and drying conditions are expected into midweek as we return to a typical springtime weather pattern. Winds will increase throughout the week out of the west, southwest, with two systems passing by from Thursday into the weekend. These disturbances will result in breezy to windy conditions, some blowing dust, and high fire danger. We'll have another look at the weather following this news. The Alamogordo City Commission is having their regular meeting this evening. Two items on the agenda for new business: consider and act upon the Parks and Recreation Master Plan, and discuss and provide staff with direction on recent theft and speeding issues. VIP tents for the Legacy of Liberty Air Show, which is happening on June 2nd, are now available. If you want to reserve a tent, you can choose between a friends and family chalet or a private corporate one. All tents include restrooms, complimentary meals, and drinks. Now, the air show itself is free and open to the public, and it's going to include aerial performances by the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds and the U.S. Air Force Academy Wings of Blue parachute team. You're also going to enjoy the aircraft static displays, also some vendors, some STEM activities, and food trucks. Check out holloman.af.mil for more details. Following up on a story we shared yesterday, Sean Ward of the Democratic Party of New Mexico responded to Alamogordo Town News and confirmed that yes, indeed, Matt Creselius is currently suspended from all party activities. So then what about the Earth Day event in which Creselius was manning the Gabe Vasquez booth? Ward states that the Democratic Party was not involved in Earth Day activities in Otero County. So does that mean Creselius is in business for himself? Or do Democratic Party members not need to abide by party regulations and suspensions? Food for thought. Oh, and there was not a single word shared about the missing scholarship funds. The Alameda Park Zoo is having a very busy month this month. Brew at the Zoo is coming up on April 26th. I spoke with Hector.
We're going to have a country band to Moon Junction. We're going to have a dance floor for people to take advantage of if they choose to have a ball dance the night away. We're going to have 4 breweries. We're going to have about 5 to 6 food trucks and drink vendors. And, of course, we're going to have craft vendors.
Check out the City of Alamogordo Facebook page for more details. Well, today is Tuesday. Let's have an introspection from our good friend, Pastor Johnny Walker.
Hey, this is Pastor Johnny Walker with this week's introspection. Just something to think about, a little sunshine to put in your pockets. I hope you're not waiting for the world to change. We are living in a time where it's more important than ever to take action and make a difference. We can no longer rely on others to create the change we want to see in the world. Start with us. It may seem overwhelming to think about changing the world, but it all begins with small acts of kindness, compassion, and understanding. By being the change we want to see, we can inspire others to do the same. Imagine a world where everyone is striving to be their best selves, where love and kindness are the norm, and where we all work together to create a better future for generations to come. This is possible if we each commit to making a difference in our own lives and in the lives of those around us. Let's not wait for the world to change on its own. Let's take action now and be the change we want to see. Together, we can truly revolutionize the world by changing ourselves first. This is Pastor Walker with Crazy Radio. We'll see you next Tuesday. Y'all be blessed and be a blessing.
News from around the state in just a moment. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
Local news from local perspectives from local voices. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Local sports, local events, and local happenings, and more. Owned and operated by Second Life Media. We are Otero County. AlamogordoTownNews.com. Heard daily on Crazy KALH Radio 95.1.
Directory Plus is the right size book. It's the book if you need a phone book.
That's what just one person has to say about Directory Plus. With its red cover, features, colorful yellow pages, and lots more, it's no wonder people all over use Directory Plus.
It has so much more information. You can cross-check phone numbers or addresses or pretty much anything.
Look on the plus side, Directory Plus.
I'm a big fan of Directory Plus.
More than 140 people were arrested by the Department of Public Safety following an incident on April 12th where illegal migrants attempted to climb a chain-link fence.
All of the individuals who were in that group are subject to a riot charge. I believe the Department of Public Safety has arrested and charged about 149 of those individuals. The law enforcement entity are the ones who actually make the decision on who they're going to arrest and who they're not going to arrest. And then they make the decision on what they're going to arrest for. Now, once the charges make it to our office, then we make the decision on what we actually file charges for.
El Paso District Attorney Bill Hicks speaking with KVIA.
The county jail is close to capacity, but of course we're also working through the first set of cases, and as those cases are worked through, I'm sure that some of those will plead out and be released from our county jail back to Border Patrol to be deported or whatever Border Patrol is going to do with them.
One of the hot spots where illegals are crossing is Mount Cristo Rey, an honored monument to the community.
Well, Mount Cristo Rey has a history here. It's, built by El Pasoans in this area. It was built by the Diocese of El Paso, back in the 30s. So a lot of people have made their pilgrimages.
Ruben Escandon Jr., a spokesperson for the Mount Cristo Rey Restoration Committee, speaking with KOAT.
Anytime, we're talking even years ago, when we had smaller groups that would go, we would escort a church group up with maybe 60, 70 people, and there would be 90 to 100 people that would come down.
Remember, there is no fencing, no wall, no protection other than Mount Cristo Rey itself. The District Attorney for Donna Ana County, Gerald Byers, has made an agreement with Border Control to help control some of the issues focused on providing safety and security for border communities by allowing more prosecution efforts. But Byers told KOAT that the focus is safety and not immigration.
If the message is brought to those folks who would attempt to cross illegally, that Donna Ana County is not the place to do that because of safety hazards to themselves and also prosecution because it violates public safety, then that is more incentive for people to go through the port of entry.
Yeah, okay. Byers added that border cities such as Sunland Park, Santa Teresa, and other communities have had the heaviest trafficking and undocumented immigrants crossing into the Southwest. Some of the crimes they're looking for are breaking and entering, harboring a felon, extortion, human trafficking, and other violent offenses. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham has called a special session to address crime and public safety, but if these issues are so pressing, why wait until July 18th?
Legislators have some time now to put their own stamp of approval on the kinds of measures I proposed. And absolutely, a little more time gives you a more perfect legislative response. And we'll be ready by July 18th.
Measures she proposed, and not what's staring her right in the face, like the aforementioned border problems and the carjackings we discussed yesterday. Hell, she sent the legislature right back to work in 2021 after they didn't pass making pot sales legal. So is weed more important than crime? New Mexico pollster Brian Sanderhoff told KOAT that he feels there might be more to this delay and that the special session is starting in an election year, 1 month after primaries.
Ultimately, the governor is thinking of the general election. She wants to make sure that the Democratic candidates can run on their accomplishments when it comes to crime fighting.
Don't you just love when politics are more urgent than crime?
All 112 members of the legislature will be up for office. The general election will be a hard-fought contest between the Democrats and Republicans. The Republicans are being very critical of the governor for what they call her lack of success in crime fighting.
Many incumbent Democrats are facing challengers from moderates in this year's primaries.
But it also gives her the time to negotiate with the legislative leadership about what kind of matters could pass. The last thing the governor wants is to call a special session that's unsuccessful, that accomplishes nothing.
The governor said that during the special session, she would like to see a law passed increasing penalties for felons caught with a gun, and also wants to make it harder for people to be released before trial. Question: Why not just pencil whip an executive order like she's done in the past? By the way, this marks the 5th special session she's called since taking office. New Mexico Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury spoke at a virtual press conference yesterday morning, addressing a new rule meant to make land conservation easier.
It brings a modern and a 21st century worldview to the Federal Lands Management Act, which for many decades has been managed with the idea that lands are there for extraction and for use without protection.
The new rule allows for land to be leased for restoration and conservation, in the same way land can be currently leased by oil companies for drilling. The rule permits for special designation to be put on the land that will restrict development with historic or cultural significance or land that's deemed important for wildlife conservation. A report lists all the rivers in New Mexico as the most endangered in the U.S.
Our rivers are at risk. Our rivers and wetlands are at risk of infill being pushed into our waterways. Our rivers are at risk from toxic waste, from industrial activities, from mining activities. There's numerous risks to our waterways because of this gap in protections, in clean water protections.
That's Rachel Kahn, the Deputy Director of Amigos Bravos, a nonprofit that works to protect and restore water in New Mexico. Kahn told KOB that she blames the reason for pollution on a nationwide decision made by the U.S. Supreme Court last year.
The initial mapping estimates show that up to 96% of our state's streams and rivers are no longer federally protected, and up to 88% of our state's wetlands are no longer protected. And that's really dire and unfortunate for clean water in the state of New Mexico. And that's what this report is highlighting.
Kahn worked with Matt Rice from the national nonprofit American Rivers on the New Mexico portion of this report. Rice explained just how important waterways are in our state.
It might be the first time ever that American Rivers has listed all the rivers in a state rather than just one river or one section of a river. We figured we had to do that because there wasn't just one place in the state of New Mexico to point to that's going to be impacted by this decision.
Kahn believes the state has taken steps to fill the gaps left by the feds.
In the last legislative session, there was $7.6 million that was allocated to the development of a state surface water quality permitting program. So the state is on the path for filling that gap, and we are lucky that we have leadership in the state that is willing to take that action, because that's not the case in a lot of states across the country.
I don't know about being lucky with most of the state's leadership, but okay. Rice and Kahn are encouraging New Mexicans to engage by talking to friends and family about how important clean water is to our communities. Sports and weather are next. This is Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.
They are role models and educators. Their work requires a great deal of time and energy for very little pay. Who are these unsung heroes?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
The simple truth about education-based athletics in New Mexico is this. Without a committed team of coaches and administrators, they just wouldn't be possible. School sports, they bring out the best in all of us. This message presented by the New Mexico Activities Association and the New Mexico Athletic Directors Association.
There are 38 games for Mexico softball today, including East Mountain at Ruidoso. Capitan comes to Tularosa. Wow. Go Lady Cats. And the number 1 rated Alamogordo heads to Las Cruces. Go Lady Tigers. There are 35 games for Mexico baseball today, including East Mountain at Ruidoso. Tularosa heads to Lordsburg. Wow. Go Wildcats. Las Cruces comes to Alamogordo. Go Tigers. Your Crazy Radio spot-on weather forecast for the Tularosa Basin today calls for sunny skies. Mostly clear tonight, winds gusting as high as 20 miles per hour. Mostly sunny tomorrow. High today of 86, low tonight 57, high tomorrow 84 degrees. In Cloudcroft, sunny skies today, winds gusting as high as 30 miles per hour. Mostly clear tonight, winds gusting as high as 30. Mostly sunny tomorrow, winds gusting as high as 30. Your high today for Cloudcroft, 64. Low tonight of 43. High tomorrow, 63 degrees. Local breaking news can be found on our website, alamogordotownnews.com, and learn more about Crazy Radio by visiting kalhradio.org. Also, check out the Crazy KALH Radio YouTube channel. That's where we post our daily newscasts, complete interviews, and other information which concerns everyone in the Tularosa Basin. Be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you've not done so already. That way you too can remain informed of the goings-on in the Tularosa Basin. That concludes today's edition of Alamogordo Town News on Crazy Radio. I'm Anthony Lucero.